Okay, let's hope this works. The reason for this is because I have been very, very, very frustrated with this, and that is 100% me. That was 100% for me because I was a bit of an idiot earlier and forgot to check the audio. So the previous one, go ahead and laugh. I boomered it. I totally boomered it. That was me. I was the derp. So I have no problem admitting my own thing. I have no problem admitting that I'm a bit of an idiot sometimes when it comes to recording things. So let's get into this. There was an incident in HeroHei's server that pretty much a lot of people know about, but not many people know what happened per se. And the reason they didn't know what happened is because SezuBean and Junpei were both guilty of gaslighting everybody they could. And this had not been anything new. When it comes to me, especially, they had been nothing but habitual liars, and it had gotten on a lot of people's nerves. A lot of people weren't happy with SezuBean or Junpei being in the server, doing what they were doing, because they were behaving exactly like Kick Vic. They were the ones that were behaving like Kick Vic, constantly ignoring rhetoric, ignoring the proclamations of people who clarified their statements, butting their head into conversations where it wasn't belong, so much so that they pulled two particular ones out of context, or at least SezuBean did, and I'm going to highlight exactly what contexts those were. One of the first ones they love bambying about is where I say I want to smack somebody in the face with a crop. This refers to the e-thoughts on Kickvik's side, because these women are nothing but whores. And in the instance of this particular screenshot, what SezuBean is not showing you is that one of them had attacked a minor child for something very stupid. And it was one of those ring, 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 hello, FBI, open up moments. It was one of those things, one of those, this woman deserves to be on the wall moments when in reference to said thought. Now, I'm not going to get too much into that because it has little relevance other than the fact that SezuBean was pulling the screenshot grossly out of context, and you can see where SezuBean forgets to show the first part of the conversation. In the second screenshot, they feign that the first part of the conversation is the screenshot of Monica Royale, when in fact the first part of the conversation was about the dark side of the mind, and how these women are so insufferable, they tend to trigger it more often than not. It, again, was a conversation that was intruded upon, in this case, by Junpei, and one thing that was omitted from the end of the conversation was where the other person involved in the conversation told Junpei they were wrong about their characterization, and they needed to look again at what was being said, because it was a full conversation they had intruded in the middle upon and were removing context from. This is nothing new for these two. They've done it repeatedly, and they've done it before to RoboKnight. I'm not sure if HeroHei was aware of this, but clearly his admin was not. And even if you want to play devil's advocate, Burger Cheese was, at the very least, not active enough in the server to properly realize that Junpei and SezuBean were both guilty of being habitual liars in the server, more so where I or any of their current targets are concerned. They behave more like Kick Vic than anything else, and then they gaslight everybody with a lot of sayings. One of their most infamous ones is that I stand with Vic that wants to act like Kick Vic. No, the only things I have ever asked if I stand with Vic, and I don't think Ace Sorrow got this right, but I can't really blame him because it has been a while since I've had this conversation with them, because this is nothing new. Again, these people have been doing this for a while in the server, and they have gotten a very bad reputation for it. What I don't think people understand is I'm on the side of justice. I want these women to be held accountable for the shit they pulled, not just against Vic, because he wasn't the first, and he won't be the last target they go after. As proof of this, they went after Todd Habercorn, did they not? This is ridiculous. The fact that they would say and impose upon me a character while being habitual liars about it And not being called out by other people tells me a lot more about how they're afraid of burger cheese because of how burger cheese reacted than it does about Junpei and SezuBean. Everybody in the server pretty much knows Junpei and SezuBean are fucking pieces of shit. They don't need to be told that burger cheese might be a bad admin. In this case, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but apparently I'm the bearer of bad news again. So, sorry, Hero. That's on you. You should be ashamed of that thing. You should be very ashamed to have that admin in the server. Everybody in the server has seen what that admin said to me. And as a side note to burger cheese, if I'm taking the insult at face value, you're saying that you basically diddled my dead mother. I'm just gonna leave that there, because that is pretty much yeah, that's your own punishment right there. You kind of brought that one on yourself, dude. What you did was inappropriate. It was uncalled for, and you approached me hostilely at first instead of saying, "Hey, what's your beef with blah?" And you probably would have realized the reason I had blocked SezuBean was because SezuBean said, and I quote, "You do not have a right to defend yourself." I want you to remember this when I point out that SezuBean and Junpei both want I Stand With Vic to be submissive and just take hit after hit after hit after hit after hit after hit from Kick Vic. Don't be nice to these people. You don't have to be mean to them, but don't be nice to them. Nice is an option, but it is not an answer. Even if you're indifferent about it, you need to defend yourself. You need to point out these people are trash. You need to point out what they're doing that makes them trash. And you need to hold their feet to the fires they started. That's all I've ever said. That's all I will ever say about this. Is these people are horrible people. They have skeletons in their closet that predate Vic. And they don't want anybody to find out about them. Because, oh boy, if people found out what Jamie and Monica did before Vic, they are toast. They are goners. They are gone. They are dead. They don't stand a chance at defending themselves from their actions if you brought up what they did before Vic. And they did do shit before Vic. Don't think they didn't. A lot of people know about it, and a lot of people are starting to get really frustrated with these two cackling harpies. And oh boy, is it about to get very interesting very soon. One of which is the fact that, yes, Jamie Marchi is connected to Mars Girl through Samantha Inuhart. And yes, Samantha Inuhart is a walking human rights violation. There is a lot to be found there with those two especially. Caitlin Salcedo got her job at Channel Awesome opening her damn legs and being the whore. She will never not be the whore because of that, and that pisses her off because she knows she opened her legs to get the job, and that alone really stings because she knows she can't do that anymore. She doesn't have the body, she doesn't have the looks, she doesn't have the personality. She lost everything when she hit the fucking wall, and oh boy, is her being salty about that fact so juicy. The fact that these women are beyond their prime. They're not pretty as they were when they were in high school or college. They don't have the look. They don't have the thin body. And they don't have the intelligence to know that, that may be a sign that the shenanigans are over. Again, what we have here is SezuBean and Junpei not only continuing to again evade a block and harass a person on the server, but continuing to gaslight everybody in the server and pissing a lot of people off. HeroHei, you've got a problem with an admin that doesn't realize what a fucking piece of shit Junpei and SezuBean are, and you might want to address that issue before trying to invite me back. Let's be honest.